This is Steve Good on the Coin Chat.
Along with Yuri Cataldo.
Hey, we're having a bit of fun.
Exactly.
We can get started because we're having a laugh.
That's what I'm good at. I'm good at randomly doing stuff that gets you laughing.
Tell everybody what you were doing, Yuri, how you were taking up all the space.
I was taking up all the space. Look how much space I take. When I zoom in and out of this, so, you know, I'm in an interesting conference room.
Too. Anyway, that's not really why we're here.
No, not so much at all.
No.
Yeah, so you discovered something very interesting that we want to talk about.
I would call it disturbing. You might call it interesting. I think we can debate that one.
Exactly.
Let me preface this by saying we're in the world of blockchain and crypto. So
we are.
For me, my starting point with crypto and blockchain is all about privacy, having control of my data. I don't want any more of these Cambridge Analytic problems with Facebook. I don't want to give my data away. I want to be in control of it. So when I download anything nowadays, I'm going to look and see what it is. Now, if it's a blockchain app in particular, I expect that they honor at least some of that and give me some respect.
Mm-hmm.
But with Ethos, which is a downloadable software for iOS and for Google, which I thought was a really interesting application because they're using a security chip inside your phone so that you're able to store your coins like a ledger or a Trezor or a Keep Key. That's all great up until we look at the privacy policy, and I'm going to pop up on the screen and show it, and I'll read it out loud, and people can either, well, you can respond how you did, and I'll tell you how my wife responded to it, and we can compare notes. So let me pull that up. Right. Can you see that on the screen? Your data and privacy?
Yes, your data and privacy.
Okay, so bear in mind, this is a crypto wallet program. So this is about me holding my crypto coins, and I am expecting some level of privacy because I'm just storing, all I'm doing is storing my coins.
Yep.
Right? And it says, we collect the information that you give, information generated as you use our services and information from third parties. Now I'm already getting a little nervous. What do you mean third parties? So now let me continue. Information you give us. You choose to give us certain information when using our services, including the account. We collect your name, we collect your email address, we collect your mobile phone number, the account preferences, and any other information that you provide us, which, by the way, you kind of have to provide it if you want to use it, so you're not giving a choice. When you create a wallet, as described in our terms of service, we collect the information that you provide to track the value of your digital assets through your wallet. They're collecting the value, so they now know how much money I have.
Yep.
If you contact our user support team, we collect information you give us during the interaction, some of it to monitor and record interactions for training purposes. Okay, that's fine. That's the first thing I agree with. When you participate in our surveys, we'll collect insights into the services in response to your questions, and information collected when you use the services. When you use the services, we collect information about which features you used and how you use them and the devices you use to access the services.
And there's more.
And we collect the information about your activity on the services. We automatically collect and store in our server logs the date and time you logged in. In search queries, the date and time of your request and the URL referrals. We collect information about the devices you use to access the services, including internet protocols, the address, including the country where you physically are at the time you use it, the device ID that you're on, and type of device you're on, the device specific and other hardware settings, operating system and other software settings, browser type, browser language, time zones, certain cookies or other technologies identify your browser, device, or the Ethos account. Gee, thanks for throwing that one in at the end, or the Ethos account. Thank you. Okay, so now that I've read all that, you still feel like it's just like okay, or you feel like it's a little bit creepy?
No. So I think that's where there was this, and I didn't mention
the third party part yet, by the way. Should I continue?
Yeah.
We collect information from you about information on your wireless and mobile network connection, like your service provider and signal strength. And we collect the information with your consent about information collected through third parties.
Yeah.
Third parties that assist us with our business operations also collect information through the services. In other words, they're selling all my data on, and they could be selling it on to the NSA, the SEC, the IRS, the FCA, FINMA. I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah.
I click the decline button. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. Enough said, Ethos. Forget it. Never going to use. I am disgusted. But okay. Now, I said what I want to say. Calling out the crap in crypto. Please, Yuri, give me your balanced point of view now on this.
My balance. Well, so I'm just more reserved on this. So I also will never download this app and never accept to those terms. But I'm less surprised at this than you are. I think that's because on every other app that I'm using, like from Facebook to even like my weather.com app, they are tracking everything I do. The difference with this one is, of course, it's blockchain, and that's not supposed to happen. Like the ecosystem is supposed to be better than what the tech companies are doing right now. Also, there is a financial component to this too. Like I don't download some financial apps on my phone for that exact reason, because I don't want people tracking, even if that's like some kind of hidden backdoor thing that no one's telling me about. So yeah, that's the stuff that I definitely do not agree with.
Go back to the foundations about my call with, my interview with John McAfee, which I'll put a link to on this side, a link to so people can check it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
One of these sites. But I mean, even in there, he talks about the importance of privacy because it's a foundation for what crypto is. Of course, the whole point is not trying to hide from the government, but it is about me having control of my data. The same thing goes about, do I want all the pharma companies to have all my personal data? No. I want to control my medical records and my medical data and choose who has what. I'm not just giving out my data freely. I'm not an experiment that everyone can just use as a lab rat to share. And for me, this was like lab rat data. Like, give away all my privacy, please. Sell it on. Why don't you tell everybody in Europe and the rest of the world? And if they get a data leak of any sort, then all of my personal data that I would store there would all be given away. And it's potential that my phone number, my physical location, and hey, you and I both know we're public personalities to some degree. And that means we have to protect ourselves. Why would I want to use an app that I know is absolutely going to have the potential to disclose exactly where I am at a given moment in time with how much crypto I've got? Theft, burglary, easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, you don't want that.
Conclusion.
It is. So another my little tin foil hat thing. It's the same reason why I really want to use 23andMe, because I want to know about my DNA, but I will never use those services because I don't trust that they are going to keep my DNA information safe and not sell it off to pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies, the government. So yeah.
Why do you want to know about your DNA? I mean,
I think it's like interesting. I think it's like, as just like I'm a naturally curious person. I'm very interested to hear about my lineage, to find out like, the actual.
You mean your pre-Italian lineage?
Yes, exactly. Like so I say that, but my dad, my dad doesn't care about that. So I signed up, he and my mom on that, and they come from different, like my mother is Russian, my father is Italian. My dad was totally, so when I bought it for him, he was like, I'm Italian. That's what'll come up. He has a lot of like from the Moors, North African part, like I think like 3% down in that area. So he was very excited, and also, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah.
You know that I've come from an immigrant background. I mean, all of my family, my great-great-grandfather went through Staten Island. I mean, we're talking like real history. I've got the documents that show him entering the U.S. from Eastern Europe. But that's just my great-great-grandfather. I don't have information on the rest of my family and their actual, where they came from. I know that, I have a grandfather that came from Belarus, because everyone in America calls it White Russia, but Belarus actually translates to White Russia.
Yes.
So, surprise, we're from Belarus, not from White Russia, whatever the hell that is.
Right.
I educated a bunch of people about what Belarus means. But so I have a lot of family that I have no history of. I know nothing because they were immigrants. So, and a lot of that was, we got to America, we kept our mouths shut, and we moved on and we just integrated. And I don't know anything. So for me, it'd be interesting too to do that. I mean, it's complete divergence here, but
it is. Well, I mean, it's like protecting our data. So if there was a blockchain company who, first off, I trusted, who could potentially do that, test my DNA, also keep my data protected, or I could hold on to it and just keep it protected that way, then I would completely do that. So we have to find a company that does that, or do it anonymously. Either way, though, it is about protecting our data because we don't want everybody to know.
Why can't we just submit our DNA data and ask for it to be returned back to us? I guess maybe it's because of KYC or personal information if you're sending it in. But I mean, if I sent it this,
there's definitely
with my dog. I have a mixed dog, and she's lovely, and I always wonder what her mixture of
like her lineage is? Yeah.
Because she looks like she's partially Jack Russell. Some people think she looks like she's partially Border Collie, but I don't know. So it'd be interesting to do a DNA test on that and see how much data from that they sell on.
Yeah, definitely. But, I know there is a way to do it anonymously. Tim Ferriss actually has a post about this from years back, 2012, 2013. And it's part of I think also Neil Strauss partially kind of wrote one of those things. But it was
it's back in those links. We'll stick it in the description on.
Yeah, I'll look for it. But there was you have to be very, very careful with that. But there was ways to do your DNA anonymously,
right?
Here and get it back so people couldn't trace it back.
Go to the Philippines.
I mean, yeah, that could be it too. So if I'll do some searches, if I can come across it, I'll give you the link so you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, look, I mean, that's my personal point of view. I'd love to see an app that I could download and store my coins and know they're on the chip on my phone. Although, well, actually, to be fair, it's not a big deal as long as you have your private keys. Your coins are still accessible. And I mean, it's just another example of ways to store coins that would be equivalent to a ledger, but more accessible. But not with Ethos. I'm sorry. If anyone out there is an Ethos fan or listener, supporter, I know they did their ICO a couple of years ago, 2 years ago or something like that. But this has to be the most disappointing thing because I was excited to try the app out and I just bounced. And
well, if you're an Ethos fan, then comment below. Tell us why you like Ethos and tell us if you're okay with this. Did you know that you agreed to do all of this, sign off all your data, and are you okay with it? Yeah. If you are, tell us why.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. Let us know why. Yeah. Exactly right. Cool. Right. Well, that's all I had to say on that today.
It's an important topic. Privacy will be even bigger and bigger topics as we talk more about this because the governments will have more control over what's happening in technology, and technology will rule our lives more and more and more as the days go by. Everything is going to get connected to the internet soon enough.
I mean, the whole point of the blockchain movement and the crypto movement for me was all about having a little bit more control of our data, getting rid of big corporate and owning our data for us. Let us own our own data and choose. I understand everybody wants to do marketing and wants to sell more and blah, blah, blah. Great. Find another way. I don't want them using my data to do that because it's exploitation at a point where I feel like I don't even know what's in my control and what's in everyone else's control. And maybe they know more about me than I do. And, actually, you probably know more about me than I do, and I probably know more about you than you do because we see each other's blind spots. But that's an entirely different conversation.
Different type of thing. That's true. But I don't want Google or Amazon to know all of my blind spots in that sense and sending me products to try to fill in that gap.
I mean, if I have to trust a company, I'm going to trust a big bank or Google or Amazon with my data more so. But even just because I'm trusting that they are more secure. But needless to say, Equifax didn't, escape that one, and neither did the DNA company, his heritage company in Israel.
Yes.
So everyone's immune. No one immune to this, in terms of being able to be unhackable when it comes to this kind of thing. And that's what worries me. Is Ethos is just a little company, and they can't guarantee any of our security or privacy whatsoever by capturing and storing this much. We're putting ourselves at risk. And my point of view is blockchain, at least we'd like to have a little bit more consensus, more control, and not just have our data being out there for the masses and not for third parties. I mean, that's just made my skin crawl, made my wife's skin crawl. She said, delete the app. I did.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for listening in today to the Coin Chat with Yuri Cataldo and Steve Good. We're always here to have a little bit of fun and poke fun at whatever we can. Don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, click that little bell on the subscribe part of YouTube as well, so you get notifications when we put new episodes out. And of course, check us out on Spotify if you like to listen and not watch us, which is also fine. To the moon. Until next time.